Hello, season's greetings and a warm hello to everyone. I am Sam Crutcher, a practitioner here at North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, and I welcome all of you who have joined us in person or via Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Zoom. For those of you who are here in person, please take this moment to ensure your cell phones are silenced or off. Thank you very much. We begin our Wednesday evening service with a pre-service meditation. So I invite you to get still, close your eyes, allow yourself to simply notice your breathing and to be present in this space. If your mind wanders, simply bring it back to this mantra, God's the love that I am. And after a few minutes, we'll come out of the meditation and begin the service. And so as our meditation comes to a close, gently bring your awareness back into your surroundings, into your bodies, and as you feel ready, open your eyes.
We're going to start our service right now by singing our opening chant, God is in this place, led by our very own Mary Highland. God is in this place. God is in this place. God is in this holy place. God is in this place. Love, yes. Love is in this place. Love is in this place. Love is in this holy place. Love is in this place. Joy. Joy is in this place. Joy is in this place. Joy is in this holy place. Joy is in this place. God is in this place.
Thank you, Mary. Let's join together in prayer. Settle into your seat wherever you may be through the miracle of technology or here in the sanctuary and recognize that the divine presence, the divine being, the divine love and light that is God is within us all. It is our divine inheritance, and I recognize that each of us are individualized personifications of the great Creator. It is with joy and gratitude that I accept for all of us this truth of happiness and joy and beauty, grace, creativity, and abundance. These and so many more are our inheritance, our spiritual DNA. And so each of us, I know, gather together here to be uplifted by the musical intonations of Mary and Sam, and we are just so pleased to hear the songs, the music, the words that come from each tune, knowing that it lifts our hearts together, and we are in unison in knowing that joy. We're also uplifted by the words of Reverend Sidney, knowing that this service of remembrance is a special night. It is for all of us to broaden, accept what is in store for us in any way that it comes. And I know that each of us will be nurtured, sustained, embraced, inspired, and guided through the process that we are about to enjoy together. And I appreciate and thank all the volunteers and people that make this service possible. And I thank you for being here. And I'm so grateful to know that we are already so blessed in all ways and always by God's divine inheritance, by that divine presence of love and light that is within all of us at all times, everywhere, ever present. So in saying this with a grateful heart, knowing that it is so, I release this in the law of mind, and together we can all say, Amen. Now, if you'll join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Peace, peace, wonderful peace, peace to the world. given. Hushed are the angels, so still in the night. Then in the east shone a heavenly light. Join in the chorus, the angels sing. Glory to God, to the newly born King. Peace, peace, bearer of peace, all of good will receive him. Peace, peace, bearer of peace, all of good will receive him. Holiest of nights, O most wondrous of days, shepherds and kings lift their voices in praise. Join in the chorus, the angels sing. Glory to God, to the newly born King. Peace, peace, wonderful peace. Peace to the world is given. Peace, peace, wonderful peace. Peace, peace, wonderful peace.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, and welcome. I'm glad that you are here. I am Reverend Sydney, and I'm the assistant minister here. So let me just get my notes in order here. We're doing a little bit different tonight. This is what we sometimes call a blue service. It's a remembrance service. And so this is where we have the opportunity to honor loss, to sanctify it, so that it's not something that can scare us, that can hurt us, that we try to escape. You know, for many of us, going into the holidays, if we have grief, particularly unattended grief, it can be very challenging. It can be very challenging. So one of the things that we will be doing is we have an altar set up here in the front, and there are some pictures and mementos, and if you are in the room and you have not yet had a chance to put that memento or picture or whatever it is that you may have brought with you, I want to invite you to do that now. So feel free to come up and do that. That's not the cards that you've been given, not that yet, but if you have a symbol of that which you might be grieving. And for those of you who are live streaming, I want to invite you to take a moment to find something that is symbolic of a loss of this year, or maybe not of the last several years. It might be a relationship, it might be an animal, a beloved pet, it might be someone who is close to you, it might be a job. Find something that symbolizes it, And at the end of the service, I will be inviting people to take candles home. So if you are at home and streaming, I want to encourage you to sometime this week find a candle that has meaning for you so that you can enjoy celebrating that which is sacred as you go through the season. Wow, it's been a long day. Or go through the system. All right. We are right at the beginning of this light-filled season. And, Sunday night was when we really got into, or rather Sunday day was when we really got into this whole thing about Christmas. We started singing carols here at the service, and you'll notice we have a lot of decorations, and they have grown since then. We have goodwill toward all, we have peace on earth, and so we are really looking at everything that is traditionally iconic with the season. Oh, good, you have something for the altar. Please bring it up. In a few weeks, a lot of people are going to celebrate the return of the light. That the light stops, or the light gets dim, then it gets greater, and that is what we do with the solstice, right? We celebrate the fact that the light has gone away, and now the light is coming back. Christmas symbolizes the bringer of light. Kwanzaa is also coming up. It's about bringing light and understanding to family, to community, and culture. And light is an idea that's throughout our culture, right? And throughout our archetypes. Light in the midst of the darkness, the eternal light of divine life, which never dims. Despite the end of one's human or earthly life, what we know is that the life that you are, that you have, did not actually start when you were born. And it won't end when you move, when you rotate off this mortal coil. Joel Goldsmith talked about this idea that we are a parenthesis in eternity. So that force of life that we are, that eternal nature, and here is the opening of the parenthesis. There we are, now we're on earth, there's the closing of that parenthesis, and yet life continues, right? Does that make sense? So, Ernest Holmes wrote, "Light has the power to overcome darkness, not by combating darkness, but by being exactly what it is, light." And he also wrote this, "There is something divine about us which we have overlooked. There is more to us than we realize. Man is, woman is, an eternal destiny, a forever expanding principle of conscious intelligence. The ocean in the drop of water, the sun in its rays. Man, the real man, is birthless, deathless, changeless. And God as man, in man, is man. God in woman, as man, is woman. That human that we appear to be, we are God. We are God. We have physical shape to it. The highest God and the innermost God is one and the same God. And so we prepare not to die, but to live. We prepare to live. So it's hard, though, when we have a loss that is weighing on our hearts. And I know that when I honor a loss, I am more free to live, as Ernest Holmes said, that we are here to live. The paradox happens because when we celebrate what has changed form, then step by step, inch by inch, we can prepare to live. And I know that I live more fully with a greater willingness to let my light shine again. So it is a matter of going through that acknowledgement and that pain and that challenge and that struggle. I was a guest speaker last night at a center in Granada Hills, and I talked about this a little bit. Richard Rohr talked about it, called it the wisdom pattern. We start off in order. Then there's disorder. And then there's a reorder. So perhaps the ordering for us is that everything is fine. And then we have that disorder of a loss. We have that disorder of grief. We have disorder of something that happens. And then there is the reordering according to a new awareness, a new experience of life. It can be hard to move into any kind of season of light when you are grieving the loss of someone or something you've loved. So tonight is about recognizing that challenge and even the pain and release of letting go. You know, last year I know that when we did this service, we were we'd been in quarantine for close to 2 years, and we're just coming out of it, or hoping to come out of it, right? But one of the persons who had attended had lost his mom and was not able to have a service for her. And what I really was grateful to experience was that he came up to me later and said, I feel as if I finally have been able to have a service now, honoring her. I've now celebrated her life. That meant so much. That meant so much. So we can, in our own ways, memorialize that which we perhaps have given up. So how do we process our grief in the midst of what may seem to be a whole lot of joy around us? We are in this grief place. Is it possible, is it even acceptable to have joy while there's sadness within us? Can we have joy in the midst of grief? Sometimes it feels like that's wrong. It feels like it's a contradiction. How can it be right to do this? I'm sad, I've lost someone, or other people have lost things, there's loss in the world. How do we do this and feel okay about having the joy? You know, Western society, we don't tend to dive into the grieving process as much as other societies where it's really embraced. You know, if you were Jewish and someone in your life died, you would be having a service within 3 days if you were celebrating a traditional path. And then you would also sit Shiva, which means you would sit and intentionally grieve and not plan on celebrating anything for 7 days. Cover the mirrors so that you don't have a chance to be vain and look at how, you know, think about how, am I looking good today? Am I pretty? Is my hair, you know, is my hair working? None of that. And we don't do that. We seem to think that it's just a blip on the radar and then we keep going, and yet it's not. How many of us have blips that are ongoing blips? They just seem to be still fully present. Kaddish is one of the prayers that is spoken in the Jewish tradition. It's a sanctification of God. It's spoken at synagogue as part of a regular service. It's also a prayer spoken for the dead. It is to honor. It is to honor that which is happening, being experienced in life, and death is part of that. Release is part of that. Loss is part of that. You know, that's what we are called to do daily, to let go of that which is not part of this present moment. You know, there's a poem I like to read when I'm conducting a funeral or a celebration of life, and it's from a contemporary poet by the name of Merit Malloy, and it was written for the purpose of preparation for the Kaddish for the dead. And this is how it reads. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live on in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Is it okay to be sad then? Is it okay to be sad longer than everyone around you thinks you should be? Right? You know, sometimes we grieve and people go, aren't you over this yet? You should just get over it. You should let this go. You're still sad about that. We all process our grief, live in our grief, and move through it in our own way. So if no one has given you full license and full permission to do that, I want to do that for you now. You have full permission to do exactly what you need to do to move through your life and to move through your own experiences. You know, when my husband and I moved back here about 1.5 years ago, there was joy and there was delight, but there's been a lot of letting go too. You know, we had been in Oregon for 17 years. And I've always felt like a Californian, and living up there, I still felt like I needed to be back in California, even though I loved living there. And it was a paradox that we both experienced. And I find myself now thinking it's really interesting because I do miss the people that I have left behind. And I grieve that. It took me a while to get into that place because I was so excited to be like, we're back here, we're doing this, and I'm part of this community. It's so wonderful. And yet I have some dear friends, and some of them have left the planet since I've been here. There's a picture of one down here, my friend Billy in the pink hat. And that's hard. And yet we love where we are. We have new identities, kind of. I mean, my son is living 900 miles away. He's still in Oregon. So whereas we were sort of empty nesters, we definitely are empty nesters now. So that brings with it its own new reframing of life and identity. And is it okay to mourn a loss that isn't what society thinks is normal or okay, right? What about the loss of a pet? For some of us, our furry four-legged or reptiles or birds or whatever they are our family members, and they hold as much importance and value and love in our hearts as anyone who's walking upright on the planet. Not everyone understands the feeling of family that surrounds a beloved dog, a cat, a bird, a tortoise, a horse. Even chickens have personalities, and they respond to love and companionship. What about the loss of a job? Cherished friendship. Maybe that's not romantic, but whatever that relationship has been, it's helped midwife you into the person you are now. Is it okay to mourn the loss of things? I think so. Any loss that upsets or shifts the context of your life or who you are is worthy of paying attention to and acknowledging with honor and integrity. After all, we are here to heal. We want to heal. Now, does it mean that we are unhealed if we are still in grief? Absolutely not. But what I know is that when we acknowledge and we honor that grief, then everything else around it that might be tight, that might be hard, loosens. And that's where healing happens. Grief goes sideways. When we don't really grieve or mourn something, our grief can go sideways. And it can go sideways sort of like when you put a top on something that has too much in it and the top causes it to overflow, right? And it comes out as anger. It will come out as remorse, regret, shame, fear. It can come out as so many things. So no, and even with normal grieving process, even if you are allowing yourself to go through the time and all of that you need to go through, grief can still go sideways. And it's important to recognize that because, no one gave us a manual when we got on this planet that said, this is how you do life. This is how this works. When this happens, do that. When this happens, do this. Nobody did that. So we're making it up as we go along. There's this line, and I'm trying to remember, it's a Buddhist writer, and he calls us all bozos on the bus. And we're all making it up as we go along. I know I am. I remember a friend of mine years ago who married the man of her dreams and just had so much joy. And yet, really soon after she got married, she got a really, really bad cold and couldn't understand why because she was so happy and just in such joy. And her new mother-in-law had so much wonderful insight and intuition. She said, well, hon, you've moved into a new life. There's stuff to grieve. Even though this new life is fantastic and you love it, you're letting go of an older life. Grieve that. Allow for that to happen. We will process it one way or the other. Often if we don't process it mentally, clearly with our experience and consciously acknowledge it, well, we might experience it physically. Depends on who we are and how we are. I think that these last several years for all of us, if you've been on this planet during the last several years, and I'm going to say everyone in here has, we've had pain, we've had loss, we've had a lot of emotional stretching. I believe that those of us even who perhaps haven't lost significant relationships or friends or family, we still might want to consciously allow for the loss of what was, old ways, old habits, beliefs, ways of being. There's a lot of shaking up that has happened. I know I experience it. I think that since quarantine for COVID began in early 2020, so many of us had to attend funerals online, memorials, and it was really surreal to not actually be in the room, right? Because it's in the space together where we can share love, we can share hearts, we can, as the poem says, touch hands, touch bodies. Being able to share tears and stories is part of how we honor our lives and what we've gone through, and we really, really need to do that. So if that hasn't happened, you might still feel incomplete around a loss. So perhaps tonight can be a chance for all of us to create some meaning and some peace around losses. Perhaps that light is still there, awaiting a chance to shine again. Years ago, a friend of mine in Chicago wrote a song that I think of every year when I do this service. And I've been doing this service now for about 7 or 8 years. And she's just this wonderful exotic singer, and she's an amazing African dancer. Her name is Bukeka Scholes. And she wrote this song called I'll Light a Candle in Your Name. And every time I get ready for this service, this comes to me. So I want to read some of the lyrics. When it's time to take another step on a road that's been too long, and you find it hard to see things clearly because there's so much going on, and in your time of need, I will hold you close to my heart. And whenever it's dark, I'll light a candle in your name. I'll light a candle in your name, and I'll shield it from the wind and rain. I'll wish upon a falling star that you are safe wherever you are. I'll say a prayer that you are blessed beyond appearances. I'll light a candle in your name. And that's what this service is about, that we light a candle in the name of that which has gone, or we light a candle in the name of who and what we are, what we've been, what we are going to be. So you have each been given a card and a pen. If you don't have them, would you please raise your hand so we can make sure that everybody has a card and a pen? Anybody not have one? I think, okay, up front. Yes, Mary, yes. Let's take, we got to make sure the talent is covered too here, So I'm going to invite you to take a moment and just settle in and breathe deeply. Let your breath out. And then take a minute or two to think about and then write down your loss or your losses. And if you're not comfortable putting your name on that card, you don't have to. But just put the names or the things, whatever it is, that is calling for you to light a candle in the name of. Honor whatever or whomever you have lost. So whether it's recent or sometime back, let your hand write the words. Your words may still be fraught with sadness or maybe even anger, and that's normal. I think that's what makes you human. It's a normal response. You don't even have to be willing to release and let go, by the way. This is not in any way the forum to force you to let go of your grief. We just want to join with you in acknowledging it. We just want to recognize you. And I want to hold that loss in light and peace. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come forward with your card. And you can put it on this altar. We have a gold platter that you can put it on. And I will hold these cards in confidence, and I will pray for you and all of the losses that have been placed on the altar. And for those of you who are live streaming, I want to invite you, if you would like me to pray for the things that you are releasing or the people or the losses, whatever it is, please email me and I will do that. Rev Sydney, that's REV SYDNEY, at NHCRS.org. I will hold it confidentially. I'm the only one who reads these emails. Rev Sydney at NHCRS.org. And I will hold the light, I will light a candle in your name and in the name of all that is being released or all that is being felt. You're in a safe place. We have practitioners here who can pray for you and can hold the space for your wholeness, knowing that you are always loved and that that love is eternal. By the way, tears are encouraged. They sometimes are the most necessary part of recovering your own remembrance of who and what you are. You know, they're cleansing. It's such a cleansing. I remember my mom used to say that there's nothing like a good cry. And she used to say, whenever I've felt like I was just aching and sore and kind of all tight, if I was able to just let go and fully cry, then she would say, afterwards, my pain was gone. I could move again. No more aches and pains in my body and my knees and my hips and my shoulders. And I agree, because, you know, we store our emotions in our tissues. So when we can let that out, then we can move into that place of just a greater comfort within ourselves. So now, as you are ready, I am inviting you to come up, take your time, and place your card on this altar. Sam, if you'll just, yeah. So let's take some time right now to pray, as this is a healing service. The idea that I am fully anchored in is so well represented in some thoughts that I read today by Myrtle Fillmore, who co-founded Unity. And she wrote that in any area, anything that is not expressing the full perfection of the Christ, it can be changed. So I commit now to knowing this, and that we recognize together that there is one power, one presence, one life, one light, one mind, and it is God. It is that which is absolutely surrounding us and filling each and every one of us with itself. And therefore, we now give voice, we give permission, we give full availability to this light, to this life, to this perfect Christ within us, this awakened understanding, the awareness which has never dimmed, this light which has never gone out, that wisdom which is always, always flowing, infinite, creator and created. And as I know that I am God's celebration, I know for everyone in this room and everyone who might be connected through technology, whether listening right here and right now or in a few days or a few weeks or a few years from now, that there is no time and space in God, but there is that quiet truth that there is one life, that life is God, that life is perfect, that life is our life here and now. So I speak my word now for anyone who might be experiencing a physical pain, a physical illness, something that is affecting your body, anything that is affecting the way you move in the world, the way you live in the world, the way you be in the world as a human spiritual being. I speak my word now for the knowing that God is fully present within each experience, each fiber, each tissue, each cell, that it lights it up, because just like the candles that are right here shining, that the light of God will not be denied and the wholeness of God will not be denied. And I declare that healing is accomplished now, whatever it is. There is no large or small in God. There is no large or small in spirit. There is no time and space. There is no process of healing. There is that which we choose to reveal right here and right now, that right where we are, God is celebrating, demonstrating by means of us, and we say yes to allowing it. We allow God to simply be present in the midst of whatever it is we are going through. God is present in the midst of the pain. God is present in the midst of a diagnosis. God is present in the midst of any sense of suffering or struggle. Whatever it is, God is fully present. And I declare and know that that wholeness is activated, that the law of God will not be denied. And we dare to say, yes, I am the wholeness of God. I am healed now. I allow this now. I choose this now. And if the need for healing is one in the area of vocation or finance, employment, I know that God does not play favorites. God does not choose to separate any idea or any expression, that all life is united in the full expression of God. And that means that employment is robust and that we are all financially secure in God, for God is the source. God is our 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 source, not our employers, not our bosses, not our jobs. God is my source. So I am open and fully available to knowing that on every level. Every level. God is the source of all. Not God up here in the sky, but God within me. I turn within to that place within me, that Bethlehem within me, the awakened, inner, alive place of sustenance. Bethlehem means house of bread. How wonderful to know that we each have within us our own Bethlehem. We awaken to the knowing that the light is on there, and we are fully available for the journey into sustenance, nourishment, supply, abundance, prosperity, whatever our name for it. God doesn't even know the difference. God just is, and is fully, fully blessing each of us with itself. And if relationships are in need of healing, I declare right now that the infinite love, that level of Christedness that allows birds to be born, that allows the sun to shine, that is the love. That is the truth of who we are. And we bless each relationship, each exchange, whether they are in the past, in the present, or perhaps an exchange or an intersection that will happen in the future. We know that God is fully present now as reconciliation, love, patience, blessing. For we are one. We are one. We are not two. We are not 8 billion. We are one. And God is fully expressed in and as that one. All of us, one with the one. And if the need right now is for a tender heart, a preciousness around a loss or many losses, if there is a sadness, if there is a grief, if there is anything right now that wants to be lifted up, that wants to be sanctified, I know that this light is embracing each of us, is holding us. We are held in the arms of love. We are held in the arms of spirit, as if the angels themselves were embracing us with comfort, compassion, and the knowing that this too is God. None of us is alone. We are here. We are here with each other. So we take to heart the understanding that while we may get sick or find ourselves broken when we are alone, we come together and we heal together. For that is the consciousness that we invoke and that we declare and we know and we accept, because healing is our nature. Glory, hallelujah. That is who and what we are. I know this to be so. I know that our world resonates with this as we resonate with it, as we vibrate at the speed of love, as we vibrate at that vibration that cannot be measured, for it is that mystical mystery that is truth. As we say yes to that, I know that this planet is in full alignment, is in full healing, is in full recovery, is in full knowing. I bless the trees and the oceans. I bless the oxygen. I bless all of it, knowing that nothing is outside of the mind of God. And there is no large or small. So we bless all of it. We praise all of it. We praise all nations, all leaders, all experiences, all elections, and know that the truth will not be denied, that right where we are, God is, and all is well. So with a full and grateful heart, I release this word into spiritual law, knowing it is already so. It is done. We have just simply observed the truth of God that is already going on. So we let it be so, and together we say, Amen.
There is a river rolling to the sea. You will be with her for all eternity. But we that remain need you here again. So hold her in your memory and begin to make the shadows disappear. So let it start, my friend, let it start. Let the tears come rolling from your heart. And if you need a light in the lonely night, carry me like a fire in your heart. Carry me like a fire in your heart. There is an answer but we must take away the pain before we can begin to live again. You can sing with me if you can. So let it start, my friend, let it start. Let the love come rolling from your heart. And if you need a light in the lonely night, carry me like a fire in your heart. Carry me like a fire in your heart. So let it start, my friend, let it start. Let the love come rolling from your heart. If you need a light in the lonely night, carry me like a fire in your heart. Carry me like a fire in your heart. Carry me like a fire in your heart.
Wow. Okay, so we're completely out of order according to the bulletins that you have in your hands, but that's okay. We make stuff up here. Now is when I'm going to invite you to share your tithes, your gifts, your love offerings, and know that we are grateful for all of it. And we have an affirmation that we say, and that actually is in your bulletin, and that is correct, if you want to say that with us. And we say, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Rest in God and say
There seems to be some movement in the room. I have no idea what it's about.
Basket.
Okay, so we have a basket. Well, you're going to tell them all about it. If it didn't come up to you today in this moment, then we have baskets in the back and baskets in the front, baskets on the side. We don't have all that, I know. You're great.
You were great. That was cool and
Thank
very cool and very comforting. Thank you for that.
Thank
Madam Reverend Sydney Lehman Steen.
Thank you. You've got announcements.
All right.
Go for it.
I'm glad you all stuck around for this. I'm going to be bringing you more joy in the form of announcements. So without delay, December 7th, we make it easy for you to make donations to our church. The text to give number and the QR code are on your program, or you can go to nhcrs.org/give. Give. Prayer with the practitioner is available after the service, as mentioned previously, in person and on Zoom. So if you're on Facebook Live or one of the other YouTube, go over to Zoom if you want a practitioner to play with you or pray with you.
I like that. I'd rather play with them.
I set up play dates for the weekends only. I'll give you my number after the service.
Let's play.
Wednesday night healing service with Reverend Steen, meditation 6:50, service at 7 sharp. Next week's Reverend Sydney's topic is unplugging from the Christmas machine. Yeah, I like that. We are excited to announce that we are currently rebuilding and invigorating our youth and family ministry. This is such a great thing. To do this, we need both youth and families. All right. Whether you have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, or friends with kids, please let them know that we have programs that support kids from toddlers to teens, Sundays at 9:45. Tweens and teens meet in the Ernest Holmes room, and younger age kids meet in our junior church. Junior church is all about empowering our kids and loving them into confidence, poise, and possibility. Our annual Giving Tree event has been wildly successful. All of the kids have been adopted, and our Helping Hand ministry is busily wrapping and preparing for the Santa Claus event at North Valley Carrying Services. The last day to drop off purchase gifts will be this Sunday, December 11th. Please bring gifts to practitioner Gail Palat on the patio, unwrapped, accompanied by the appropriately sized gift bag. You can also participate by donating money so that we can provide grocery gift cards for the families at North Valley. The Grief Support Group, this group, facilitated by practitioner Carol Winokur, meets this Sunday at 1 p.m. on Zoom, and all are welcome. Christmas Eve candlelight service, Saturday, December 24th at 7 p.m. Join us in person on Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube for an amazing Christmas Eve service that will include beautiful readings, singing, and candlelighting. Our featured vocalist will be Nadine Risha. In person?
In person.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a must. Childcare will be available in the youth church. We look forward to celebrating with you, and that means on Sunday after Christmas Eve, there is not, repeat, there is not a service on Sunday, December 25th.
So sleep late, but you can show up and help us feed the homeless in the park, because we will be doing that.
All
We'll
in
have more
favor, say aye.
information.
All right, we'll expect all of you there. I'll lead the charge right behind Madam Reverend. Zoom virtual patio, before and after Sunday and Wednesday services. Zoom meditation every morning, Monday through Saturday from 7:55 to 8:15 a.m. Visit our website, NHCRS.org, to obtain Zoom links and more information about all our events, and to sign up for weekly e-blasts and monthly newsletters, and I'm out.
All right. So I just want you to know we have this whole arc that we are looking at to allow everyone to prepare for a new experience, letting go of 2022 and moving into 2023. So this service was the beginning of it. And then as we move into our candle lighting service, and then we get into 2023, we're going to have a burning bowl service on that Wednesday night. This is where we officially get to list the stuff that we're done with and burn it. Oh, it feels so good. People at home, we have a method for you too. I promise you won't set your house on fire. And then we move into a white stone ceremony. If you've never done a white stone ceremony, this is really something. In Jesus' time, when someone was freed from serving a debt to society, prison, whatever they were told, they had to pay a price, be in prison. What am I trying to say? They were criminals, and now they're free. They were given a white stone that symbolized that they had done their time. And they would often choose a new name. If you ever saw Les Miserables, you saw that there was a white stone. So we are going to do that this is a time to intuit that voice of God within us that wants to give us a word or a name or an intention for 2023. Each of you will get, and that's the second Sunday in 2023, January 8th. Each of you will get a white stone that has been milled and shipped to us from Jerusalem. These are beautiful stones, and they're amazing. So just begin to know that there is a revelation, a word that will come to everyone, everyone, everyone. I have, in the past, my words have been everything from teacher to release to Joseph to avatar to student. I mean, I've gotten all these wonderful, wonderful words. We will have metaphysical Bible dictionaries available for you afterwards so you can get some deeper meaning. But the whole idea is that we have this arc, and then the completion of that arc is Saturday, January 14th. Dr. Mark will be doing his goal-setting workshop, and it will be done in person, and that is very powerful. So whatever that word was, perhaps, that you were given in that white stone ceremony, now you're going to be able to support it, put some legs underneath that thing, and move into 2023 with intention. Giddy up, intention and wholeness, and gosh, so much peace, and I'm done talking. I do want to tell you, though, that when we are done here tonight, if you have left something on the altar, please come up and get it, and take a candle with you. Take one of these candles, and know that throughout this holiday season, you can have this candle, and every time you are feeling like you want to acknowledge that grief or that loss, or just light a candle in your own name, you will be able to do that. And for those of you who are live streaming, this is why I invited you to get a candle, that you can do the same thing throughout this season, that you have this symbol, this tangible symbol of allowing and acknowledging your experience to be sanctified. I bless you all. I'm going to stop talking. I've got enough. I'm done. Mic drop. I'm out. You're on.
Hey, everyone, let's stand and sing Blessed Always one more time, led by Mary Highland.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.